castration, and the effeminization of black men.
The year is 1987, and one of the most brilliant black minds of all times steps in front of a classroom to give a lecture. The name of the lecture was called Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. His name is Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu out of Chicago, Illinois. Now, some of the things he will present today are going to be true as it is right now in 2024. And he has a hunch that there is a conspiracy to destroy black boys.
You see, contrary to belief at birth, there are more black boys in the world than there are girls. It's clear. It is 1.3 black boys in the world to 1.0 black girls. Hear me clear. At birth, black boys are more girls, 1.0.
This is interesting. Black boys are born more than black women. But once they get to adults, why is it that there are less black men? First conspiracy point number one. But he also talks about why he believes so many black boys end up special ed.
Next issue, female teachers. We're also very concerned about female teachers. Remember, the exact percentage is 83% in the elementary grades. The number of black children in public schools, 17%. But black children are 41% of all the special ed children. Now 17 doesn't equal 41. LD, learning disabled, EMR, educable mentally retarded, BD, behavior disorder. It gets worse. If a black child is going to be labeled special ed, 85% of the time it's going to be a black boy. Why is it not 50-50 black boy, black girl? Well, the reason may not be with just black children, Bill Moyers and Patrick Monahan. It may be up here at the top. It may be that female teachers may not know that boys are different than girls. You all didn't know that, didn't you? That boys are different than girls. I only want the women to answer. The men know they're different. I want to now hear the women to share with us what are some of the differences between boys and girls in the classroom.
Just stick with me, guys. I'm building my point. As you see, a lot of black boys are educated by female teachers. Many of them are black women who do not understand them. That's not a shot at black women. It's just to prove that black men and black women, or women and men in general, are different, and that a lot of black boys are not being understood. And this leads to their effeminization. Fast forward. How does this correlate to Kamala Harris? Stick with me, and I'm going to tell you why. Kamala Harris is a California resident, ex-California senator, vice president of the United States, who really supports the gay agenda. And nothing is necessarily wrong with any agenda in America, depending on who that person may be. I don't have a problem with any agenda. People are free to live how they want. But a lot of black men are looking at this differently. And a lot of black men are tired of being effeminized. And they believe it is a conspiracy that is tied directly to the Democratic Party. They can look and see how masculine black men were in the 1960s to how we are now, the removal of the black man from the home. And then what you get is a lot of black women complaining about these weak, quote unquote, black men that are more or less like women that can't take care of anything. And black men feel that the reason why that is because of the Democratic Party. These ideas are not new. There is a popular bishop out of Chicago. He was the bishop, maybe he still is, of the Kingdom of Christ Church, named Harvey L. Richardson. He went to a funeral and he noticed something.
I went to a funeral the other day and I noticed something. The girls are turning into boys. And the boys are turning into girls. This is just the eye test. The girls looked harder. Some of them was combat boots down, khakis up to their waist, old plaid shirts on, dark sunglasses, hair cut off, and just walking like men. I looked over at the brothers, and the pants was down below the waist, drawers out. Whoever want to see this here thing I got, here it is. Looking soft and sweet. Can I get a witness? I said to myself, what's happening to us? How is our masculinity and our femininity being switched? How is it you got so many men don't want to be a man anymore, but you got so many girls want to be a man? How is it that males are running away from masculinity and girls are running to masculinity? Now, there already ain't enough men for the women. Can I get a witness? I said this ain't gonna take long, but it is strong. There's already a male shortage. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing? I would think the women might say something right around here. It's a severe shortage of black men. I'm just saying black men because this is a black congregation and this is what we're dealing with right now.
He noticed the women were becoming like men and the men were becoming like women. Again, this ties into the earlier lecture done in 1987. This sermon was just 10 years ago, 2014. So the same message over 27 years is still concurrent. Let's fast forward all the way to 2024. Now, Kamala Harris is very big in the gay community. She lived in San Francisco. The Bay Area is a big LGBTQ hub, right? We get it. However, Kamala Harris was heavily criticized when she went to Ghana and said this.
Let me be clear about where we stand. First of all, for the American press who are here, you know that a great deal of work in my career has been to address human rights issues, equality issues across the board, including as it relates to the LGBT community. And I feel very strongly about the importance of supporting the freedom and supporting and fighting for equality among all people, and that all people be treated equally. I will also say that this is an issue that we consider, and I consider, to be a human rights issue, and that will not change.
That's right. She basically told Ghana that, listen, you guys need to get down and lay down and accept the LGBTQ efforts in Africa. We don't ask Egypt these things or Algeria these things, and they're African Muslim nations because they can defend themselves. But you guys who can't, we are making sure that you understand that you need to get down. And that pissed off this one Ghanaian politician.
It's nobody's business what happens between me and my wife in my bedroom. But when you decide to bring what is supposed to remain in the privacy of your bedroom into public space, then public policy will apply to you for people who chose to have sex, men who chose to have sex with men. And so the government had to spend $200 million. We're dealing with getting enough beds for our women to give birth when they are pregnant. We should now begin to divert those resources to the backs of men who have chosen to go and have sex with men when they begin to have anal tears and anal warts. The people who lose their identity have lost their nation. Ghana is not the 51st state of the United States. Tell the American people, you either do business with us on our terms or you can walk. American businesses that operate in Ghana are not in Ghana because of LGBTQ. They are in Ghana because they make a profit. If you think that because we are protecting our cultural values and saying no to LGBTQ, you want to lose $100 million in profit, pack up and go, pack up and go, pack up and go.
Now that is Honorable Sam George. He spoke very freely in a very masculine way about Kamala Harris intruding in their country and trying to feminize their men. This was also not looked upon very well by Ghanaians, even Ugandans. They don't like it, right? I'm in Africa right now. They don't like it. It's a no-no. If you want to be participating in your sexuality, that is one thing. But what people feel is Kamala Harris and the Democrats are trying to do this by force, making black men become more like women. And that is also a part of the voting decision. You see, a lot of people don't understand that black men are not just voting on policies. That's one thing. You know, to vote for a person because you feel like they're anti-immigration, to vote for a person on reparations, but it also means something to vote for a person or a party that you feel is trying to get rid of your men, that wants to attack your men, that wants to put your men into prison, that wants to recategorize men or reclassify them as being mentally retarded when they are just black boys being rambunctious. That's a whole nother thing, because do white men who are rambunctious, are they considered to be mentally retarded? So this is a conspiracy, including the Sun Brothers. And this is why you have this particular post. Delano Squire says, black men, over the next few months, you'll be called a race traitor, sexist, and bigot by the party that gets 90% of the black vote. Ask yourself 2 questions. Which of these men better represents your values? Who is more, and then number 2, who is more likely to speak at the upcoming DNC? Answer and move accordingly. Now, Mr. Delano Squires is not taking any sorts of shots at anybody in the Democratic Party. He's saying what a lot of us believe to be true, that black men who want to be manly and masculine, take care of their women, take care of their community, are largely ostracized. That is something that we hear, not by everybody, but that's something that's a growing concern. And we have seen how our men have become effeminized, and we can tie that, or at least we believe that Democratic policies have led to the removal of black men, which we already know it has. And then that has also led to the effeminization of black men and the masculinization of black women, which also now leads to black men not being able to understand their role, not understanding manhood, or vice versa, some sisters not understanding womanhood. And we are voting for our destruction, according to many brothers, and they are tired of it. A lot of black men just want to be the men that they can make masculine decisions without being ostracized. You know, one of the things I've noticed since I've talked about the Kamala Harris situation is I've gotten a lot of emails, many from disgruntled people who want to say all kind of really nasty things to you, right? You hate this, you hate that, or whatever. Now, it's funny, I don't attack them for their opinion on being a Kamala Harris supporter. It doesn't matter to me if you like Biden. I don't come after your masculinity or your femininity or any of that. But I noticed that these shaming tactics people are using to get you to get on the side that they are proposing. So then what I'm asking them is, how will this voting for Democratic policies, any of them that you name, help black men become leaders in their community? Because black women in the DNC will get on camera all day and talk about how they're doing better than black men. Black men need to do better, but they don't understand how a black man needs to do better because they're not men. They can't help us do better. Black men have to help each other do better. We learn differently than them. We think differently than them. We see the world differently than them. And that is why we're at a crux in this voting election, because black men and black women are different. We see the world different than you. And some of you are upset about that, but God made us different for a reason. You see, you can't suppress that in us. We have to be who we are, just like black women have to be who they are. But the problem is that it's okay for black women to express themselves, but it is not okay for black men to express themselves. But at the same time, when these issues come and black men start to fail, we are often blamed for being lazy, for being a loser, not taking care of our women, not being serious. Being effeminate is one of the other big criticisms. Well, how are these men going to do so if they don't think for themselves? If they don't go out there and be rambunctious? And if black men feel a political party is the reason for why they are experiencing this or being suppressed, they are not going to vote for that. Why do you think there's so many passport bros? Passport bros is a direct call, answer, rebuttal to Democrats. If you think about it, it's a political move. They want to go to other places where they feel they can be more masculine and be more traditional because they feel like you can't do it here in the States. It's just the reality of it. And until black women understand that about black men and their need to be able to do that as a black man, then we're never going to be able to have a voting block that makes sense together. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.